Welcome to the Power Lunch Podcast, your midday dose of boldness, brilliance, and a little bit of badassery. I'm Amy Souza, here with my powerhouse co-hosts, Tracie Munce and Lisa Carmichael, and we're coming in hot to shake things up. Each week, we dish out bite-sized, high-impact conversations on business, health, purpose, wealth, and the wild, beautiful chaos in between. Whether you're building your dream, rebooting your story, or just catching your breath, this is your space to get grounded, inspired, and reignited. This isn't just another podcast, it's your power move. Let's go.
All right. Welcome back to the Power Lunch Podcast. My name is Tracie, and I have Lisa with me. Amy is off today, but we do have a really special guest, one that flew in all the way from Las Vegas, maybe not to just see us, but we're happy she made time for us. Sometimes the universe just puts people into rooms and puts them into your path, and that's what happened with Dena Anderson and I. We connected through the TLC Mastermind with Lauren LaHave, who is a dear friend of ours and a mentor. It was a room full of women who are serious about growth, serious about each other, and serious about showing up. And Dena, she's the real deal in that room and in life. Dena Anderson is the director of operations of Kinsella Angels. It's a Kinsella Angels Foundation. It's a nonprofit based in Las Vegas that is doing powerful work supporting youth through mentorship, coaching, and scholarships, while also fighting social isolation in the elderly. 2 generations, 1 mission, and Dena is right in the middle of making it all happen. But what I really want to talk about today is the leap. Because Dena didn't just drift into this life. She made a bold decision, packed up, and stepped into something new when most people would have played it safe. And this is exactly the kind of story that I know that I want to hear as well as everybody else. So welcome to the Power Lunch Podcast. Thank you so much for saying yes to this. This is your first podcast ever? Have you done a podcast before?
Yeah, I think this is the first one. I did a radio show that was, on YouTube, but yeah, I've never done a podcast.
Lisa and I did our first radio show. Like we hosted, Lisa
We
picked
did
out
the
the music.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we are now radio show hosts as well.
Yeah.
Wow.
And
I'm
here's the
impressed.
good news. We were invited back, so
That's
we
right.
might have not
That's my
sucked.
good
Back in
I didn't
September.
swear on radio, so I think I did a good job. So tell us first off, just a little bit about you. When I describe you as love. That's it. You are pure love to me. The way that you show up for people in your community, the people that you support, and then just people in general. And if you ask everybody, and I was just talking to Michelle the other day, I can think of Tamber, everybody will say that you are love. So thank you for being an example of what love looks like.
Thank you. I appreciate that. And thanks for having me here today.
You're welcome.
I really appreciate it. I'm excited to be here. So yeah.
Yeah.
A little bit about myself. I am a single mom, and I have 2 children. That one just graduated high school in Las Vegas, and she's going off to college in the fall. And then my son is going to be a junior this upcoming fall. And when I was about 2 years old till about 8 years old, so 5 years total, I was in foster care. And I still stay in touch with my foster family. My adopted family, who got me at 8 years old, let me stay in touch with my foster family, which is very, very rare. And so I've had just a lot of love around me and community, and so I just feel really blessed. And so when I became a single mom after the kid's dad passed away at a very young age, I had a 9-month-old and I was 7 weeks pregnant. When he passed away unexpectedly at 24 years old. And so I've been a single mom ever since. And I've had just so many great people in my life, whether it's family and friends and just community here in Minneapolis area, the Twin Cities. And so because of that, I just feel so blessed. And that's today. I started off as a teacher in my career. And I very quickly realized that I wanted to do more than just teaching kids in a classroom and managing kids' behaviors. And so I started working at a nonprofit in Urban Ventures in South Minneapolis and realized, wow, I really like nonprofit work. So I knew eventually I wanted to go back to that. But what led me to that really is the support in my own life and just knowing that connection is so important in community, because I couldn't have done it alone. Had I had to do it alone, I would have failed miserably, I'm sure. So,
Wow.
Awesome. Welcome, Dena. I love having you here. I was able to have a conversation with you at our happy hour. That was really fun that you showed up at our happy hour. Tracie
It was very
invited
fun.
you. Yeah, that's probably the biggest event that we have at Glass Ceiling is bringing women together to network like that. But the two of you met at a mastermind, and I'm just going to ask you a big question with that. When you went into that mastermind, what was it that you expected from it? Why did you take the leap? I'm guessing you probably spent a little chunk of change to join that mastermind.
Yeah, it's funny because I was like, I do not want to do this. I don't have time for this. This sounds like way too much work.
But you did it?
But I knew that it was going to pay off and that it was a really good thing to do and that it would really escalate my growth, and that it would I just knew that it was a good thing to do. I just felt it in my soul, So I did. I just was like, okay, this is scary. I don't really want to do it, but I know that if I want to grow as a human and as a woman leader, I need to put people around me that are positive, that are encourage me, that are going to help empower me to overcome the fears that I have and the doubts. So, yeah.
But isn't there a lot of self-accountability that goes along with it? I think that for me was the biggest piece, that I had to step up to the plate, being surrounded by women who motivated me. Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah, I think we all need accountability. And I think that I knew that if I didn't have the accountability, I probably would not be as far along as I am today.
Yeah.
So I think that's something I've always kind of known about myself, is that if I really want to get something done, I need to have people hold me accountable to that. And I think that, hey, I have all these ladies that will hold me accountable. I might not want it or like it all the time, but it's going to push me to have that, and to continue to grow. So, yeah.
Community.
Yeah.
I also think, though, in communities like that, the mastermind specifically is, often we walk into that room and we're the biggest person in our own personal room. You're the director. You were at Kinsella Angels at the time. You were, you're the director of the boat at your home. So, you are good at what you do. But then when we walk into rooms like that, we're really, we're rising to the point of the highest person, and we're not always at the, so it's a rising of the ship. And then also you can't play small in those rooms, especially with True Legacy. Like, Lauren, we've had on the podcast before, and she's been a speaker at our power luncheon, and you just can't play small around her. She just, her light's too big and her spotlight is too big. So it was one thing that, and you came in and, I wonder if you felt this, just, like, why do I belong here? Right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Like everybody in that room, or a lot of the women in that room, are owning their own business or entrepreneurs in their own right. But what is so beautiful in that room specifically, and I think in a lot of masterminds, is you find out that you're as common as everybody else. We have kind of the same issues going on, and a lot of it is just our visibility on how we step into our light and understanding why our light is necessary. And you're a great cheerleader for others.
Thank you.
I wonder how much you are for yourself.
Yeah, I think obviously I had to have some element of cheerleading for myself, because I think I probably would have given up before I even got to the home plate or whatever, Yeah, I think, just knowing that you just have this drive in you, that this motivation of, I want to do better, I want to be better, not just for me, but for the people around me, my family, my community. But ultimately for yourself, right? You have to realize for yourself that you want to become better for yourself, because you have to live with yourself. No one else has to live with you as much as you, right?
That's true.
So
How did you become the director of operations with Kinsella Angels?
yeah, so I was living in Florida at the time, and I had escaped Minnesota winters. I had a 10-year plan of leaving my family.
Big leap.
Yeah, huge leap. Because I didn't have a job when I left, and I was like, but I had family down there.
Okay.
So I stayed with them for a few months till at least got on my feet and got a job, and then got my own place and things like that. But yeah, I mean, I'd never found my career job. I ended up working as a personal assistant and then morphing into an art gallery. And I knew those were temporary jobs, but I was like, well, maybe it'll lead me to something. I need something. And I didn't want to go back into teaching. So I was very much like, what do I have to work with here, and how do I kind of move forward? And then, so I was there for about 2.5 years, or about 2 years at this point. And my aunt, who was the founder, she had
We
known
can say her name.
Maureen.
We love
Yes,
her.
we love Maureen.
Maureen, I love you.
So Maureen was retiring, and her and my uncle decided that they wanted to leave behind a legacy. And they had already talked to me when I used to work at Urban Ventures, and they said, we'd love to, start a nonprofit someday. Maybe you can come work for us. And I was like, yeah, sure. Like, I'd love that. And not thinking anything of it, that they'd actually do it, right? Or that they were really serious about me coming. But I think they saw my heart and my passion for wanting to help students and families. And, they trusted me. They knew that I wasn't going to, give up or just quit or whatever. I think they just knew my heart. And so they asked me, would you want to ever, would you want to come run this nonprofit for us? Because we need someone that we know and trust that really has a heart for this. And I was like flabbergasted. I was like, me? Like, why me? Like, I'm like, at this point, I'm like, I was only a teacher, and that was like the highest level I had gotten. And, a teacher's great, but I just was like, I've never run a business. Who am I? Like, I can't do this. So all the doubts, and all the fears of, you can't do this. What are you thinking? That's crazy. And then she was like, well, and you'd have to move to Las Vegas. And I was like, Las Vegas? That's like the last place on earth I'd ever live. Like, I've never thought about moving there. I don't gamble. I'm like not that kind of person. So like, why would I ever do that? It's Sin City, right? But I was like, well, and I'll think about it. So I told her, I said, let me think about it. I don't want to say no. I don't want to say yes without like really thinking about this. I talked about it with my kids. I thought about it some more. And I realized that I was kind of in this like moment of life where I was like, I'm not doing a job that I love. I'm not really growing. I'm kind of, I'm just there. Yeah, I'm just there. And I was like, what do I have to lose? That was kind of my reasoning. I was like, what do I have to lose? I should at least try. And I was scared because I knew that this was a huge commitment. And especially with someone like my aunt and uncle, I love them so dearly. And I was like, I can never let them down. I could never fail them. You know what I mean? So I had that pressure, and I knew that. So I was like scared. I was like, what if I, and they of course reassured me, like, no matter what, like, even if it doesn't work, like, we're going to try, we're going to put our best effort in, that sort of thing. And so I was like, okay, I'm going to try it. We're going to try it. Like, I said yes, right? Even though I was like scared. And I basically told her, I said, I don't have any business experience at all. Like, you're just going to have to be really patient with me. And as long as you're willing to work with me and know that I have a lot to learn, I'm willing to learn, alongside you and, with your help. So she said yes, and I said yes. And we kind of started going from there. So we started making the plans for me to move out there and all of that.
How long has Kinsella Angels been?
So we've been around for 4.5 years. It was January 2022 that I moved to Las Vegas and started working from the ground up with the nonprofit.
I love that both of you have had good experience working with family, because that's not always the case, that the family dimension makes things difficult. But I feel like
it can be difficult too.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
But yeah, I think if there's a foundation of grace to begin with, like, there has to be grace, because and also that separation. I think that we, in my business, I had to, there was many times with my daughter, I had to like call her and say, hey, I have my boss hat on right now. Like, I need to talk to you as your boss versus talk to you as your mother. Or she would say to me, hey, you're talking to me as my mom right now, and I really need you to talk to me as, Like I'm communicating with you as an employee. So, and that took time, right? I think that it's not something that came right away. And then also maybe the communication is a little bit better in that, hey, you hurt my feelings on that. Oh, I didn't mean to hurt your feelings. Like, so learning each other's, because here's the thing about Maureen and Maynard. They are so successful in life. Like their businesses, each of them have been uber successful in their businesses, and they come with some really strong personalities. And being able to work with them and learn from them, outstanding. And also they have strong personalities. So it can be, and I too am the same way. Like I can relate to that type of my daughter coming in and being like, she's a lot like you. Like, tell me what to do and I'll do it. Right. Like I'll do it to the best of my ability. And so.
Yeah. And I think a lot of it, we've had to just remember, we love and respect each other very much already. So that foundation is already there. But then I think remembering to be really heart-centered, like when we do have conversations that are difficult, right? And being really honest and open. I think it helps that both her and I are very open and honest, and we really do want to communicate well and make sure that, both of us feel really confident in knowing that things are going to go smoothly and that we're going to keep continuing to communicate well.
That's great.
And there's a common goal.
Right.
It's always for the foundation.
Always bringing us back to the mission.
Yep. Absolutely.
Yeah.
What have you learned being in this nonprofit since 4 years ago?
Wow. That's like such a loaded question because I've learned so much. I mean, I would say I'm like almost a different person.
Are you?
Yeah, for sure. In front of a crowd. I just like, and I still don't. Like, I mean, that hasn't changed. Like, I don't want to do that. But I think things have shifted in my mind to, like, not this I have to, but I get to, right? And it's not for me. It's for my students and their families. It's for my community. It's, the driving force has, like, made me look past myself and my fears and doubts to just say, nope, you just got to do this because it's for them, right? And they need this. So I think I would say that's the biggest thing. I do like going back to like this huge leap of faith and this courage of just knowing that I just have to keep plugging through and moving forward, right? So I think there's always going to be fears and doubts. There's always going to be things that we tell ourselves that are going to try to stop us from, being successful and getting through the day or whatever. I mean, there's lots of mornings or nights that I've been like feeling defeated and feeling like, am I even making a difference in the world? Am I even making a difference in these kids' lives or these families? Do they even appreciate it? Does it, all the things? And by the morning, thankfully, I sleep on it. I don't do anything about it. And by the morning, I'm like, no, there's plenty of really good stories. And maybe they're going through a challenging moment. I don't see the fruits of my labor yet. But I know that if I continue to be consistent and continue to show up, the fruits of my labor are going to come to me and I'm going to see it, and I'm going to see the benefits and the impact that we are making as an organization. So that, because there's a lot of days where I'm like, are we even successful? I don't even know. Like, what does that mean? You always kind of evaluate yourself as a leader and then the organization, and you say, are we really making a difference? Like, what do I need to do to change? So I guess that's what leads me to is what do I need to do to improve and become better to do that, right? I mean, it's never going to be perfect, but knowing that we're not going to like just quit and give up the second that it feels too hard or we don't feel like we're making a difference, because we are. And we just need to not get lost in just that one moment.
Do you hear her talking to you, Lisa? It's like she's talking to us because we were just having this conversation about the direction of Glass Ceiling Foundation and how, but if we always go back to the mission, everything that you do, like, and we can feel the same way, right? I mean, we're talking into these microphones and who's listening on the other side, and is it impacting the way that is it resonating the way we want it to resonate? Or, our happy hours, if 100 women don't show up and only 2 show up, is that, are we as impactful as we could be? Or, you know what I mean? And blessings for those too, right? Like that's that. Right. And sometimes we were just talking to somebody and she's like, I had 1 person show up at my book signing, and it's like, what? Like it isn't always about seeing, it's about knowing. It's about knowing that if I am true to who I am and true to the mission and true to wanting to create value or add more value to someone's life, can I just keep doing what I'm, and improving? What can I improve on? So thank you for that. That just,
Yeah.
Mhm.
I mean, yeah, there was
Hit
lots
me.
of days, especially at the beginning when I only had 2 students, and I was like, where do I find more students? Where do I find more mentors? And you feel, 6 months into it, you're like, okay, I only have 3 now or 4. And, I've come to learn, that I really have taken heart that slow and steady wins the race.
Mhm.
But even like our intergenerational events that we do with the seniors, sometimes we might have 20 kids show up and families show up and other little, family members. Then other times there's like 2 or 3 kids show up. But those 2 or 3 kids still make a difference in those seniors' lives, and so, we don't, sometimes we get so caught up in the quantity, we forget about the quality, right? And that's something that's always been really important to me is, yes, quantity does matter too, because you want to make sure it's worth it and then you're still, growing. But the quality is the most important to me, in my opinion.
Mhm.
I
Oh
mean,
yeah,
I
it
would say.
definitely is. And Tracie and I have always said, Tracie especially, it doesn't matter. It really matters who is in the room,
Mhm.
not who did not show up.
Mhm.
So if we have some listeners that are females, moms, women, how could they help spread the word of your nonprofit that your
yeah,
aunt
you
and
guys
uncle
are
started?
starting here in Minneapolis.
Yeah, we're here
right?
in Minneapolis. Yep.
Do you have a
So
website?
we have a website.
What's the website name?
KinsellaAngels.org. So it's KINSELLA.
And that was grandmother, right?
That was Maureen's mother's maiden name.
Okay.
Yep. And it's a Gaelic Irish word that means power. So we are empowering the young and the old. And that's our mission is serving the youth and then also the seniors. So,
But
yeah.
you're in Minnesota now. So how can
Yes.
we start to get involved with Kinsella Angels here in Minnesota?
Yeah, I guess my biggest thing is just making connections with people and seeing how they want to be involved. So there's so many ways. So one, they can share with their friends and family, anyone that is, might know a student that needs mentorship, that maybe doesn't have enough support in their life. It could be someone who's interested in mentoring a student or even volunteering, maybe not with youth, but maybe with seniors. So there's both those avenues as well. And I even have volunteers that, come help serve on our intergenerational days, our events where we do games with the seniors. So it's kind of, they get a little bit of both, that don't necessarily want to, mentor a student because that's a bigger time commitment. Obviously, we're always looking for support financially to continue to grow our tuition for our students. We really help them with tuition assistance, and so making sure that they have the resources that they need, and maybe they get scholarships outside, full rides or whatever, but then we help them with, bus cards or food or whatever it might be to try to help compensate what other, costs are weighing on them and our barriers for them. And then community resources is the last thing. So I'm just looking for other partners. So whether it's someone who runs a leadership program for youth or helping them expose them to different career opportunities or college opportunities or trade school or whatever it might be. And it could be things even like healthcare or mental health or insurance or, jobs or anything. Holistically with students, and that's what I basically do. I coach kids. I work with them one-on-one and kind of come up with a customized plan for them. What are their goals and how do they get there and what are the barriers? And so whatever barriers there are, I want to have point people in the community where I can say, okay, Sally over here, she's great at this and it sounds like you need that. So I'm going to direct you to them because I can't be an expert in all areas. So I'm just going to be the one that kind of helps connect the dots, so to speak.
It's really cool.
She's so amazing. I could literally listen to you speak for hours. You, first off, have such a beautiful radio voice. So snaps for that. And the mission is so in line with what, Glass Ceiling really believes in as well. So anything that we can do to assist you as you are navigating Minnesota, and please let's combine resource. Community is getting in touch with your community. Any last words? This 25 minutes went so fast.
Wow, yeah, that did.
I know, right?
Yeah, this was fun.
Well,
No, I think
anything?
No,
When will
I'm
you
just
be back in
excited
Minnesota
to,
so we
you know,
can-
I come back every year. So
Good.
I have family here still, you know, a lot of family. So I come back every year, and I'm eventually probably going to come back multiple times a year. And when we get more students here,
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
Just, hands up if we want to hear Dena at one of our power luncheons. Like I think that the way that you've articulated how you've navigated life resonates really a lot, that, leaping. Also the fact that, you took time to go inward and recognize, why am I feeling resistance? Why, and is it a truth resistance? Shouldn't I? And understanding that when we step into our fears, on the other side is opportunity, right? Opportunity for growth, opportunity to meet new people. So I really applaud you on everything that you've done and the wisdom that you have at such a young age. Your kids are amazing.
Thank you.
Your aunt and uncle are two of my favorite people. Please squeeze them when you see them, because they literally have changed my life as well, as they have yours in this last couple years. So keep doing what you're doing.
Yeah.
And one more thing.
Yeah, good.
So I would say, as a wrap up, for anyone that does listen, I didn't even want to do this podcast, but just so you know, you don't know what someone else needs to hear.
That's right.
Right. I don't know what you need to hear. And, I probably need to hear from you. Right. So that's what we give to each other. And that's what that community is all about.
Thanks, Dena.
Thank you.
All right, let's go.
Let's go.
Thank you so much for joining us for today's episode. If something we shared sparked a new idea, gave you a fresh perspective, or simply made you feel seen, we'd love for you to pass it on. Share this episode with a friend, a colleague, or a fellow powerhouse woman who's walking her own journey. And if you haven't yet, don't forget to subscribe so you'll never miss an episode. Until next time, keep showing up, keep rising, and remember, there's no ceiling you can't break through.